Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 9. Let me introduce myself. My name is Zaidan Ilhami as a moderator in this presentation. And we will presentation about testing method of cold crushing strange. And the lecture by Mrs. Tiara Triana. Next. And let me introduce our member. The first is Aulia Kemuning Senja. The second is Mita Sophia Perenisa. The third is Raffi Nur Dwi Raharjo. The fourth is Tiara Nur Salsabila. And the last is myself. And the lesson to be covered in this presentation. The first is what is called crushing strength or CCS. The second is the urgency of cold crushing strength. The third is standardization of cold crushing strength test method. The fourth is testing method of cold crushing strength. And the last is conclusion.
So what is cold crushing strength? Cold crushing strength, or CCS, we can define by the ability of a refractory to resist failure under compressive load at room temperature. It is determined at room temperature by an uniaxial compression test and calculated from the maximum force that a test piece can withstand before the failure divided by the load surface. CCS commonly used to characterize the mechanical strength of refractory materials.
Okay, the next is the urgency of cold crushing strength. The cold crushing strength, or CCS, represent the ability of a product to resist failure under compressive load at room temperature. It has an indirect relevance to refractory performance and quality control, and is used as one of the indicator of abrasion resistance. Next. The higher CCS of material is, the greater should be the resistance to abrasion. The determination of cold crushing strength, or CCS, is also highly important in the case of refractory insulating bricks, where bricks have to be porous as well as strong.
Okay, then standardization of CCS test method. To describe the refractory material ability or component, it can be determined by following the steps given in any of the standard methods for refractory testing, like ASTM, Indian Standard, DIN, or each other. For CCS, the ASTM standard usually used. The standard used is ASTM C13397, standard test method for cold crushing strength and modulus of rupture of refractory, and ASTM E421, standard practice for force calibration and verification of testing machine. Next.
The next one is testing method of cold crushing strength. Here we're going to talk about the apparatus that we're going to use in cold crushing strength test method. The first one is testing machines. Testing machines that we use is mechanical or hydraulic compression testing machines. However, the hydraulic compression testing machine is used more often than the mechanical one. And then there are spherical bearing blocks. Spherical bearing block plane surface shall have an area which is equal to or greater than the cross-section of test specimen. Here are the recommended design for crushing test assembly. The next one is test specimen. There are three types of refractories that we're going to use for test specimens in this test method. The first one is brick and shapes. Brick and shapes should have bulk density greater than 100 pounds per cubic feet, or equal to 1.6 gram per cubic centimeters. And the dimension is 2 inch if it's cube, or 2 inch in diameter if it's cylinder sample, 2 inch in diameter and 2 inch in height if it's cylinder sample. And then the second type is insulating brick or shapes. Insulating brick or shapes should have bulk density greater than 100 pound per cubic feet or equal to 1.6 gram per cubic centimeters. And the test specimen dimension is 4.5 by 4.5 by 2.5 or 3 inch. And the third one is castable refractories. The dimension is 2 by 2 inch if it's cube, or 2 inch in diameter and 2 inch in height if it's cylinder sample. And castable refractories should prepared by casting or gunning.
Next, test procedure on the cold crushing strength. At least 5 specimens from an equivalent number of refractories shape compose a sample. Next step, specimens are looked as specific to failure. Failure is defined as the collapse of the specimen or the reduction of the specimen height to 90% of its original value. And then the maximum applied load is recorded. Calculation of CCS is using S is W divide A. S is cold crushing strength and PA unit. W is total maximum load indicated by the testing machine, Newton unit. A, average of the area of the top and bottom of the specimen perpendicular to the line of application of the load, millimeter square unit. Next. Conclusion. Conclusion number 1. The cold crushing strength represents the ability of a product to reach failure under compressive load at room temperature. Conclusion number 2. The higher CCS of a material is the greater should be the resistance to abrasion. Conclusion number 3. Standardization of cold crushing strength test method is using ASTM C13397 and ASTM E421.
Okay, this is the reference we use in this presentation. Okay, thank you for your attention and thank you for watch. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.